In this video, I'm going to show you how to add the horizontal strings called the weft. Now that I have my loom dressed, my paper plate loom with the warp strings on it, I'm going to start the weaving. So I have a piece of yarn. This is about 2 arm lengths long. It's stretched from one arm to my other arm as far as I could go, 2 times. I think that's a good length. And I'm using a weaving needle. This one's about 6 inches long, and I like that because it'll go the whole way across. I think it's just easier to use one that long. So I'm going to put my yarn inside the eye of my needle just a little bit, and I'm going to tie it on so it doesn't slide out. You don't have to tie it in a knot necessarily, just tie it once and pull it tight should be good enough. And now I'm going to start by putting my needle under the first warp string, over the second, under, over, under, over, under. Don't skip any and go under 2 like that, or over 2 at a time. You want to make sure that before you pull it through, just take a look and make sure that it's under, over, under, over, under, over, every other one. And then when you're sure, you can pull it through. And you want to pull it, keep pulling. Be careful you're paying attention and you don't pull it right back out. But you want to leave a little tail at the end, about 2 inches, maybe about 2 inches long right there. And for the round weaving, I'm going to hold on to that tail at first so I don't pull it out. I'm going to push this up around the curve like that. Now I'm going to start back the other way. The important thing here is to do the opposite from what you did the row before. So the last string is under. So I am going to start over this time. I don't want to start under again and continue so that my warp string shows 2 times, because at the end when I went to pull this out, it would just come right back out. So this is very important that you do the opposite. So under, I'm going to start over then, under, over. And as I do this, I can check by putting my needle up close to my yarn and make sure if this is over, this should be under this time. So I'm going to continue the whole way across. And when I'm sure that I did it correctly, I can pull it back through. And you don't want to pull this really tight. You don't want to pull this so tight that this pulls back down or your warp string starts to pull in. You want to keep this up, and you want to make sure that you leave a little bit of space at the end so that you can push this up. And again, I'm going to check the last string, the last warp string. This ended over it, so I'm going to start under it on the way back. You just continue to do this back and forth until you run out of your string or your yarn. So again, I'll leave a little space so that I can push it up. Now eventually, as I work my way down, I won't have to push it up as much. I'll just be weaving across. And here's one that I have woven the entire string and completed it. And you'll notice that I have little tails sticking out. Don't worry about those so much. You can just tuck them under your weaving. You can either do that as you go, or you can tuck them all under after you're finished. The final weaving that we're trying to make will look something like this, where you'll have it all woven all the way down to the bottom, and you can embellish it with whatever decorations you want.